Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to go over my TEMU Spyderco cologne collection I've picked up over the last 6 months or so. We're going to start off with the Spyderco Rubicon right here. Before I get started with all that, these knives were all purchased pretty much under the assumption they were just some kind of clone, not labeled with Spyderco branding. So just like this Strider clone, this Effengro Strider clone that I've got here. This is by Effengro. This is not branded in any way by Strider. I've heard this actually is licensed by them. I don't know if that's true. That's just a rumor right here. That could be false, but there is no branding. But it does look like that. And I picked up all these knives that look like this Effengro, no labeling on them, because they photoshopped the images, I believe, to make them not appear to be a Spyderco knife. So keep that in mind if you go to Temu or AliExpress or any of those Chinese companies. They're probably going to manipulate and probably show you something that's not a branded knife, but when it arrives, it will be branded. So let's get started with the Spyderco Rubicon. I saw this online, did not know what it was. There was no labeling, of course. Looked like a cool knife, really cool action on it. Just a super cool looking blade, had G10 scales. They claim S30V steel. Obviously, it's not going to be that. It could be D2, I don't know. It's definitely a hard steel. But super cool looking knife, so I decided to pick it up, and lo and behold, it's a discontinued, at least modeled after a discontinued Spyderco knife called the Rubicon, or I think the Rubicon, from what I could find. If it's incorrect, guys, put it in the comments below, but I believe this is a Rubicon clone, or it could also maybe be called a counterfeit, I guess, if you want to get to the nitty gritty of if this is actually literally a 100% or if it's just like it. But they are using, again, branding, so keep that in mind. Next one's going to be the Bodacious, and this one here, really nice looking knife. I knew it was probably going to be a Spyderco clone of some sort. Again, there was no labeling on this. This comes in that jade green G10. They're claiming, I think, S30V again on this one. Obviously, it's not going to be that, but actually a pretty nice knife. It's got the compression lock on the top. I can't flip with the camera in front of me. Sorry, guys. But this actually, I believe, is probably a pretty close knockoff to the real thing. I've handled a couple of those in real life, and it does, from what I can remember, be pretty much the same thing. The next one is going to be this Shaman. It came in a clear scale version. I believe it's a G10. Could be wrong, but that's what they're claiming. And this one here got great action on it. Again, the same exact design as a real Shaman. I have handled real Shamans before. This actually might be a little smoother than the real Shamans I've had. But again, steel, S30V is what they're claiming. I don't think that it is, but a pretty darn cool looking knife nonetheless. So again, these all came branded. Did not see that on the website when I was actually looking, but they did come that way when I finally got them. So the next one's a pretty neat knife I've actually done a review on, so you can go and look up at the end of this. I'll have a link for it. But this is going to be the Nirvana. I had no idea what this thing was either. Saw it, thought it was a pretty cool looking knife. No Spyderco branding. This is not a 100% clone replica counterfeit, because the original, from what I found out, was actually a frame lock, not a liner lock. But a very cool knife nonetheless. One of my favorites that I've gotten off of Temu. Again, it's got the Spyderco branding. Probably shouldn't have that on there. I wouldn't care if they actually had this, with no branding. It'd be a pretty cool knife. But since they're trying to pass it off as the real thing, you take that for what it's worth. If you want to buy that stuff and continue to do it, then so be it. The next one here is going to be a Para 2. And this one, actually, I've not seen this blade configuration on a Para 2. Maybe it exists, maybe it does not. You guys, again, can let me know. You're probably the experts. There's so many different Spyderco versions out there, but this actually pretty decent action. It's a little bit loose up here, not too bad. And that compression lock works pretty well. It's not bad. It's actually a pretty decent knife. It's one of my favorites of the Temu knives that I've got. Looks good. Again, this is not going to be the same as the original. It's going to have definitely variations from the original. And again, it's not going to be the claim steel that's on there. The next one I found was actually a Dragonfly, but I've never seen this before. I tried to find it, and online you could not see what this was, just like it was a clone version of a Spyderco. They have obviously branding they put on this thing. You can kind of see it there. I've never seen this this style blade, the Damascus style blade, in a Dragonfly that I could find. Maybe they made one of these a long time ago. You guys can let me know again. I have no idea. Not a bad little lockback knife. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna try to engrave this with my laser at some point in the future. Thought it would be a cool knife to have. And again, they did not have the markings on there, so keep that in mind when you're out there shopping. Next one's going to be the Spyderco Caribbean Saltwater series. And I knew these existed. I knew this was probably a copy of that. Again, no branding. Blade shape, I believe this is actually a real blade shape on this one. It could be wrong. They make multiple versions from what I saw. This actually is a well-done knife. This thing's got really good action on it. Not my favorite of the Spydercos. The grip on this one definitely locks in your hand. It's got a great serrated blade. I have no idea what the metal is. Well, it's definitely not LC 200N. There's no way it's that. But it's probably maybe a 7CR, 8CR, would be my guess. I don't know. But pretty nice knife. Then I decided to get another one because I like the knife so much. This one here just does not open the same way. It's pretty good. But you can even see the differences in manufacturing. Some people claim they're all made in the same factory. I just don't know if they actually are. I mean, it looks like it is, but the scales in this are totally different than this one. And even the labeling up here is totally different. So, you know, you have more of a straight line with that cut edge. This one here, a little bit further back. The logos are in different spots on the blade. You can see that. And over here, even the labeling right there isn't quite as straight on. So back looks pretty much the same, but there are some variations. So claims are they make them in the same shop? I don't know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But actually, action on both of these is pretty good. Again, not a bad purchase, but these were sold without the labeling with Spyderco. So keep that in mind again. The last one I've got is actually a really cool knife. I had a short on this, and I had no idea what this was again. There was no labeling. Thought it was a cool looking knife. This one apparently is based off of a Frank Centofante design from the 1990s, late 1990s is what I found. It's not a clone or a replica or counterfeit because they did not make a knife quite like this. This whole G10, the other knife had, I believe, a lock on it up here. The clip I don't think was correct. The shape of the blade is similar, but this has these weird, kind of cuts on the top of the blade right there. So it's based off of it, and I think it's a cool knife. I wish Spyderco would make a knife like this. But they do not that I've ever seen. Maybe they do if they have, guys, beyond the Centofante, the original. If they make one that's just a flipper like that without a lock, let me know. I've never seen one. But this is a cool knife. Again, came with labeling. It did not have that when I bought it. It was just blank. So again, I try and support the manufacturers, the actual manufacturers where I can. If you guys want to go out there and buy that stuff, take a chance on having it be labeled with the manufacturer when it's clearly not the manufacturer. That's on you. I mean, I'm going to support the manufacturer if I can. But anyway, I wanted you to see the Spyderco collection I had of the knives from TEMU. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to consider subscribing, please do that. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.